You mentioned though, Maria, like the future of marketing. I think probably final sort of topic just to touch on there. Like seems like an appropriate one. What does the Did you have any thoughts on the future of marketing and how that's going to look over the next 5, 10 years? I mean, those are big
Mm.
numbers in themselves. Maybe even 1 year. I don't know.
I know, and it changes it feels like it changes so quickly
Mm, mm.
anyway. And it is a really, really good question. It's one that I'm thinking a lot about at the moment, because of all the things that I'm learning and things around how marketing is one of the causes of, sorry, marketing marketing is one of the causes of where we are, why we are where we
Mm.
are now,
Sure.
um, driving consumption, sort of causing people to buy things that they don't necessarily need.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that can't, like, okay, it could continue as it
Mm.
is, and it has been for years and years and years, but like, we're staring down the barrel of like a bit of a scary future, unfortunately. And especially if anyone might have seen like the latest David Attenborough documentary, and the message that he kind of left at the end is like, we need to do something. So sustainable marketing is something that is growing. It's the Chartered Institute of Marketing. They run a course on it. I know there's a course by Cambridge University, I think, about sort of like sustainable marketing. And so there is clearly like a shift happening, which is making people realize that, okay, we need to do things differently. So I think in terms of what marketing actually is going to look like, I think most big businesses will be legally like obliged to report on carbon emissions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they are going to be tracking carbon emissions of marketing campaigns, or you know production of products and everything. So they're really keen to understand how to do advertising and promotion, and everything involved in the marketing process at a lower carbon impact.
Sure.
So I think that is an interesting thing going forwards. I think even things like, so marketing at the moment generally seems to be, I mean, it's hugely data driven. A lot of businesses have way too much data compared to what they actually need in terms of to actually achieve their kind of goals from a
Right.
marketing
Right.
perspective. So, and data, we know it's like it does have it does have carbon emissions. And I think because almost you think it's just like hosted on the cloud or whatever, you don't think
Sure.
about the impact of it.
Yeah.
But I think data will kind of need to be data should be cleansed, and you shouldn't be keeping stuff unnecessarily anyway. So I think
Yeah.
that's going to sort of be
Yeah.
scaled back. I think campaigns are going to look quite different because I think they probably won't be so elaborate. But I also think things will there'll have to be a lot more creativity involved, because well, equally, these big campaigns cost money anyway, but I think
Mm.
there'll be a lot more changes in kind of how like production around campaigns. And the other thing I was thinking is, I think copywriting will almost become more important than it is
Mm.
now, because even say, for example, very, very small thing, but like a website, for example, has a carbon footprint, and usually the more images and the more kind of illustrations or like complex code on there, it impacts on the carbon emissions. So
Mhm.
I think there'll be a lot more, like, things will be stripped back a lot. It will become a lot more about language,
Mm.
and kind of simplicity than like doing like crazy stuff and running like, I don't know, campaigns on loads of different channels,
Sure.
sometimes unnecessarily. But yeah, long term, I think it's going to be very interesting because, but then I do have a bit of a maybe a very optimistic vision of where things kind of will be.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I almost can see like, yeah, it's not going to be so consumption driven, but I really, it's something I'm talking to people about and asking questions about at the moment, because I don't understand how, like, in 10 years time, I feel like things are going to look so different, but I can't even
Yeah.
really comprehend how different they're going to look.
Yeah.
Um,